Thank you very much, Melinda, for that warm welcome. And can I also acknowledge Uncle Ray's wonderful welcome to country and acknowledge all the traditional custodians of the land which we stand and pay our respects to elders past and present. Can I acknowledge all of my parliamentary colleagues, leaders from business, government and community, and also all of you for taking such a huge interest in New South Wales, and it's wonderful to see so many of you here today. Can I especially acknowledge the Minister for Planning in New South Wales, Rob Stokes, who will be joining me in the Q&A session, and all of you who are our partners in delivering more infrastructure and services to the people of New South Wales. Because if a number of things that I've learned leading this wonderful state, one is that governments can't do things on their own, but it's through testing each other's ideas, innovations, and working collaboratively that we can really make a huge difference. And I'd like to think that is the spirit in which the New South Wales Government approaches these events. Can I also acknowledge Paul McClintock and congratulate him on his 5-year term as the National Chair of this wonderful organisation. And CEDA is a beacon for thought leadership in matters economic, and I think especially during these uncertain times, that the interest it generates in these important issues is really something to behold. So congratulations to everybody at CEDA, both at a national level and New South Wales level, and please continue the great work that you're doing. So what I propose to do today is just to provide a short presentation on the state of New South Wales, where we're going, and outline a priority area of reform that my government will be really conducting in the new year, and that's around planning. We've made a lot of good progress and there's some more work to do, and the Minister for Planning and I are pleased to provide you with some of the things we'll be focusing on in the new year. So firstly, I'll just make sure this works. Oops. Melinda, do you want to just... Oh, I got it, thank you. So firstly, we're obviously going to talk about the New South Wales success story, how we achieve these outcomes, what the future looks like, because I'm sure that is what interests so many of you in the room. And I'm pleased to say New South Wales remains the engine room of the national economy. We're very proud of our AAA credit rating. We have what's called negative net debt. That means in the general government sector we are actually cash positive and don't have debt. And our economy is growing. And in fact, by 2040, we'll triple our size. At the moment, we're the only state economy that's in excess of $500 billion or $625 billion, which is something we're proud of. And the next graph on the right of the page is very interesting because, as you all know, asset recycling has been a hallmark of our government's economic success story, where we take a state-owned asset and provide a long-term lease and use that capital up front to build infrastructure. And sometimes our political opponents would say we're selling our assets and there's nothing left, but this graph shows the opposite. Since we've been in government, we've essentially doubled our state's net worth. So New South Wales today has doubled in value if you look at our balance sheet since we came to government, and our balance sheet is now a healthy $311 billion, which is far in excess of any other state government. So it just goes to show that when you invest well, you actually provide your citizens with greater ownership. We own more rail lines, more roads, more schools, more hospitals. The assets of the state have actually increased significantly. Our economy continues to perform strongly, although obviously there are always challenges ahead, but our state's still growing at a projected 2.5%. And when you look at, and that's over the next couple of years, and when you look at our economic growth success story, it's something to be proud of. So when New South Wales was growing at 3%, Australia was at 2.4 and G7 was at 1.9. So I'm happy with those growth figures. We always want to do better, but New South Wales is certainly doing well. In relation to job creation, New South Wales created this year alone 91,000 jobs, full-time jobs. The rest of Australia created 60,000. So that's another figure we're very proud of. And of course, I'm sure every state says they've got a one-in-a-generation infrastructure program, but in New South Wales we honestly do. And if you look at when we came to government, we were spending on average, the state contribution was around $13 billion. Today it's around $27 billion. And our pipeline over the next 4 years is $93 billion. And compared to the federal government, they're investing $100 billion over a decade. We're investing $93 billion over 4 years, just to show you the magnitude of our program. And if you look at how much we've invested since we've been in government and add this to that, it's in excess of $220 billion of investment into public assets. And this is supporting, when you ask about what is one of the reasons why we've got a healthier jobs growth rate in New South Wales, it's because this infrastructure investment by government is accounting for about 100,000 full-time jobs. And 2019 has been a big year for infrastructure delivery, whether it's transport projects, whether it's schools, hospitals, railways, stadia, and cultural institutions. We've managed to complete more than 120 major health projects. We've built and upgraded 100 schools. We're currently building or upgrading another 190 new schools. And importantly, a third of our infrastructure investment is going into rural and regional communities to ensure that we are providing that support. And how we got here, there are a number of things we did. I've mentioned asset recycling, that is taking state assets which weren't as productive, having a long-term lease through the private sector and using the capital up front to build new infrastructure. We've also maintained our budget discipline, ensuring we're delivering surpluses, and this ensures our continued investment. We're going through a process of digitising government services, and this is a win-win. It reduces your back office costs, but it also makes sure that you're providing better service to your citizens. And of course, we're always up for innovative solutions to not only building infrastructure, but financial solutions for how we manage our balance sheet. And there's no point having a successful economic success story if you're not passing that on to your citizens. And the Treasurer and I are very proud that in the last 4 coalition budgets in New South Wales, we have abolished 13 state taxes, which is around $5 billion worth of revenue. So whilst we're providing these additional services and infrastructure, we're actually reducing the burden on our citizens. For businesses, this has meant shaving off payroll tax. It means we've been able to enhance our easy-to-do business programs, and also major procurement policy, which has saved both business and government money. And for households, what this has meant is that we've returned in excess of $1.5 billion through rebates and savings to our customers. On the right-hand side, I've just suggested the other states are actually putting up taxes and are freezing wages to public servants, whereas we want to incentivise our public servants. So we've actually maintained our wages policy as well as lowering taxes. And we're very proud of the fact that we are continuing to digitise our economy, not just in the way we do our back office service processes, but also by the way in which we provide services to the community. We now have nearly 900,000 people who just in a couple of weeks have digitised their driver's licence on their mobile phones. We have an energy switch program, which we provide service through Service New South Wales for our citizens to get the best deal, and on average people are saving about $400 a year. And we have a number of other services we're providing through our Shopfront Service New South Wales. And of course, we're also supporting businesses by ensuring we have a tell us once policy. We don't want businesses to have to go through a myriad of government departments and agencies when they're getting started in New South Wales. And of course, we're always looking at ways in which we can improve the way we do things. Digitising government processes means we can be more efficient in our back office, but it also means we can use data better to provide better service for our citizens. And one example is looking at how we can improve literacy and numeracy results for students in public schools. And when we identified the root cause of why some schools weren't doing as well as others, we put in a program called Bump It Up through data, and we saw significant improvements in literacy and numeracy rates by using that data. So that was one example of applying data to really improve results for our citizens. And we believe that to take New South Wales to the next level, we need to continue reforming our planning system. And I'm very pleased to say that along with the Minister for Planning, next year we have made a commitment to address 4 key areas. And firstly, we want to cut red tape, we want to improve transparency and reduce assessment timeframes for all matters of planning. We want to supercharge new hubs across New South Wales and ensure people can live in communities close to their work. This means creating centres of excellence and also livable cities where people don't have to travel hours just to get the job they want. We want to fix the uncertainty of developer contributions to boost investment. This is something that is very difficult to tackle, but we are looking forward to doing that in the new year. And we also want to in the planning system ensure that we preserve our heritage, create additional public spaces and really promote good design. So how do we intend to do some of these things? In relation to cutting red tape and assessment timeframes, we want to introduce a mandatory e-planning reporting system for councils. Now, currently, voluntarily, councils can use our e-planning platform and have real-time information on the number of development applications they have in their area, what the status is, and how long it's going to take for that to be completed. We're actually going to mandate during next year that all metropolitan councils, all councils across Sydney, the Illawarra, Central Coast and Newcastle actually adopt this system, because it will actually reduce the time it takes to do things. It will also put the spotlight on us and local government to make sure we do things in a timely way. And of course, we want to supercharge our new hubs across New South Wales, and recently we indicated the areas of focus that we wanted to look at. In particular, I've just got some examples here. The Central Coast has currently about 30,000 people who travel out of the coast every day to get a job. We want to ensure that we centralise jobs and where people live through industry excellence, and that is an area that will be a geographic area of our focus. We have, of course, the Western Harbour City close to here, which we want to continue to promote as an innovation and entertainment hub, and central to Everleigh, which will be Australian Silicon Valley, and very much looking forward to developing that in the new year. And I just wanted to use as a case study the Aerotropolis, which is the new city we're building outside or around the new airport at Western Sydney. So as you know, our three-city strategy has the Eastern City here, Parramatta as our second city, and the third city, or Aerotropolis. And just to give you an indication as to how much global interest there is in us creating this hub, we recently have signed up 17 global companies that will ensure the new city we're building outside the Western Sydney airport becomes the advanced manufacturing capital, not just of Australia, but I believe the region. And we've managed to get diverse interests from Asia, from US, UK and Europe, and of course our global businesses based locally as well, to ensure that really becomes a livable city, 200,000 new jobs, advanced manufacturing, new digital economy and an education centre of excellence. Thirdly, as part of our 4 steps, we want to, of course, fix the uncertainty around how stakeholders contribute to the process. And this is an area that we will be tackling in the new year, and we want to ensure that contributions are supported by good local infrastructure, which removes complexity, improves transparency, gives more certainty, and allows things to be developed in a more timely manner. And finally, it's important that our system continues to preserve our heritage, create new public spaces and promote great design. And these are the types of legacies that we want to leave successive generations. Already we have a program to plant more trees. We now measure tree canopy as a success measure for the local livability index, as well as a number of other things we're doing, which is very vitally important. And ladies and gentlemen, our state always strives to be the best in the world by providing opportunity for all of our citizens and delivering the best infrastructure and services possible. And we believe very strongly this can only be achieved by continuing to maintain our strong budget position, continuing to manage our strong economy, putting our citizens at the centre of every decision we take, being a very citizen-centric government, and always reforming and staying ahead of the curve. Governments cannot afford to stand still. So thank you very much for your consideration, and I look forward to answering all your questions in the Q&A. Thank you.